Here we go. Live Patriot Thursday night. Got some special guests in the house.
Yo.
Got the Weapons Junkie in the house. Got Eagle 1, Eagle 2, Bald Eagle, and the Weapons Junkie.
It's happening. Sorry, I'm playing with my phone since we now have a link. Try to get it out there.
I'm still waiting on mine so I can.
What's going on, Max?
So while you guys are
we'll just give them a second for
our sharing and stuff, I'll do the rundown on class dates, who we are and what we're all about. Welcome to Prepared Patriots Thursday night live stream. We do this live stream every Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. A lot of times it's on Zoom. Sometimes it's live from the studio. But we are in North Carolina, and we specialize in training, firearms training, medical training, preparedness training, just about anything kind of along that martial path. So if you are watching us, tuning in, and you live in any of the surrounding areas, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, wherever you want to come from, we'd love to have you. Check us out, preparedpatriotnc.com. And you can see our whole class schedule, which I'm getting ready to drop a couple of dates here. So like I said, we teach multiple class dates. Our flagship medical course is coming up. We've had some folks shuffling around. We've dubbed it Prepper Mid, and we do have one spot left. So you just have to email us at preparedpatriotnc@gmail.com if you are interested in that spot. The date is actually next Saturday, July 24th, and we'll cover anything from stopping the bleed to let's see, chest seals, decompression needles. What else we got? IV access. We've got suturing, stapling, and medications that you might want to have on hand if shit were to hit the fan. So again, we got one spot left in that class. If you want to jump on it, email us at preparedpatriotnc@gmail.com. Other than that, our next class down the line is our version of concealed carry, our comprehensive concealed carry class. That'll be August 21st. And most of these classes, they're all in the Maiden, Newton area of North Carolina. So that's August 21st. And then we got another concealed carry class September 11th. And then we back that up with Prepared Pistol 1, which is kind of the flagship, where we really want everybody to get at least. That is September 12th. And then we've got a prepared rifleman class coming up September 25th. Our prepared pistol 2 class, October 17th. And I'll stop at this last class. Patrick's going to be doing his preparedness 101 class, bug out bag class, inch bag, all that fun stuff. It's going to be on October 30th. And so I'll stop at that class since we're going to lead right into our topic with our distinguished guest, the Weapons Junkie, and kind of get into all things prepping and homesteading and learning how this quote unquote city boy turned into a homesteader. So I'm going to shut up so I can share some links on the socials and you guys can take it away.
So it was a great segue into the bug out bag class and prepping 101 class, and you was talking about that. One of the things I say in that class is that no matter how great of a bag you have or how well prepped you are, eventually the end goal is going to be a homestead. Like, you have to be moving into a path where you can be as self-sustaining as possible, if that's your goal, because no matter how much you have prepped, it's going to eventually run out. No matter how much you have kind of set back and you think in your head it'll last X amount of time, it probably won't. But let's just say it does last the amount of time that you think it will hold you. You still have to have a plan to continue on after the stuff runs out. So we have Jody on, aka the Weapons Junkie. He has his own YouTube channel. Jody, if you will, introduce yourself and your channel and let them know where they can find you and subscribe to your channel, keep up with your homesteading journey and stuff like that.
Yes, so Jody, it's at Weapons Junkie. It's youtube.com/Weapons Junkie 1. Just started kind of documenting the process. Of course, my name, there's some weapon stuff on there, but YouTube has a tendency to suppress that type of stuff. But, it's all encompassing martial lifestyle and preparedness. So, like what we were talking about, it's hard to get motivated to film, but I'm going to try to do my best to document. So, thanks for having me. And, talk about your class real quick. Anybody that didn't sign up for Prep or Med, like, I don't know that you're serious about preparedness or the martial lifestyle. Like, I geeked out when I heard about that class. And I've taken a lot of classes. This is going to be something that, man, it's just invaluable. All training can be invaluable, but this training is super invaluable because if you get in austere conditions or the shit hits the fan or whatever you want to call it, whether that's a hurricane that knocks your road out for a week and somebody's hurt, this class could be a lifesaver. So I just need to say that real quick. And but I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that we're going to get to rap about a few things.
So it's interesting you said that. We were having a conversation before all this about how YouTube can sometimes be very frustrating, making videos, and I don't think people realize how hard it is and how much work that goes into it. The live streams are pretty easy, but actually documenting your journey is a smart move, I think, on your part, because it gives you a focus and kind of a timeline to show people kind of where you're at and what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. And I think it's awesome that you're willing to share that with people, because that's a certain level of intimacy with that person and that family to see all the preparations that they're making and how they're setting up their stuff. Like that's big, man. Like I appreciate you being willing to share it with other people, because it is tough sometimes. All of us have that kind of martial thought process in that, operational security. We don't want people knowing everything about everything. But it is nice that you're willing to kind of share that. So that being said, tell them how you found kind of the property and, initial thoughts on what you're planning to develop and what kind of is going on right now.
Yeah, not to get too far off that question, but to kind of back up just a little bit is I had planned on trying to document some of this, but my friend John Willis at SOE Special Operations Equipment really kind of nailed down. I said, hey, man, you got to document it, because he's been doing a lot of videos on his compound development. And, I'm not at his level yet, but he really inspired me. So I want to give him a shout out. But use your resources, right? We had an awesome time. We had a Prepared Patriot alumni get together, and we were all at Rev's house in Charlotte, and we just started talking about prepping and stuff. And one of our alumni was there and said they had a piece of property for sale. And I was like, really? Where's it at? And started picking his brain. And like we got together, I came and looked at it. It's a little over 4 acres. I was living in a condo in Gastonia, North Carolina for the last 18 years.
Which we consider city.
Yes. I mean,
I know there's been a huge outcry about us considering that city, but to me, that's city.
Yeah, that's city to me. I mean, I grew up like hunting, fishing, my grandparents canning, all that stuff. Like I saw all that growing up. My dad really wasn't like that. He was a businessman. He traveled a lot, and so did I. I went into business early on in my life, and I traveled at one time 30 plus weeks a year. So I needed a condo. So I haven't cut grass. I haven't trimmed a bush. I haven't done anything. Here I am, 4-point-something acres with a pond and an old farm garage with 2 lean-tos and like ducks. And I'm like, what the hell did I just do? Sometimes I feel like that. I'm like, damn, there's tree limbs falling down. Somebody come pick that shit up.
And that turns out to be you.
Right, exactly.
And I
It's
think
kind of like, so here's the other thing. Are you taking your own trash off and like all that?
So we
now
did
you're
get-
truly city. If you're
Well,
doing
we
all
did
that
get-
too.
We did get a trash pickup, but we, do go to the dump too. So we've only been here this is week 2, I think it is. And yeah, I'm like, I'm not taking my trash there. I don't have a truck yet. So my soon to be father-in-law's told me I need a truck about a dozen times. I'm like, I get it. I understand. I have a little SUV and man.
At a minimum, you need a trailer. But yes, living on a farm, a truck is invaluable. Like you kind of have to have it, even if it is like my truck that kind of half qualifies as a truck. It's still a truck. It does what it needs to do.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so hopping on 4 acres from a condo, man, I bet that was a shock. A lot of people don't realize that it is an incredible amount of work, and you have to make sacrifices when you're doing that much work. Like it's not easy.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody. However, I think that one thing I would say, let's point back to part of the conversation we were having. It's all about knowing people and being in a community of people that support each other.
Yeah.
And that's what this whole company is about. Y'all heard us say that. That's kind of our ethos. That's what started Prepare Patriot. But it's such a big deal when you have a group of guys that you can call up and say, hey, man, I got 4 or 5 trees down. I'm in bad shape. I can't even get out of my driveway.
Right.
And you got a group of guys that show up with chainsaws and they clear that thing out. And like everybody ends up with firewood and everybody's happy. It's a good deal for the whole people helping out, right?
Yeah,
So-
trust me. Matt's close. I'll be calling.
So
The former owner,
it
I
kind
don't
of
wanna- Go ahead. I'm
it
sorry.
kind of touches in on that whole conversation we're having though about like it takes a lot of work and time and effort, and if you're not prepared for that, it could be very overwhelming. So what we had talked last week, we kind of joked about it on the last live stream when you were watching, and we were talking about how like just mowing grass, you said you haven't mowed grass at all, now you went to mowing 4 acres.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like
Well,
to me,
I currently haven't. So this is the segue, and it's kind of I'm being transparent. I had to call a dude and hire him till I'm like, and I was honest with him. I'm like, bro, you might only have a job here for a month or 2. I'm out looking for a mower. I'd rather pay him $150 every 2 weeks versus $5,000 I got to drop on a mower right now. But I know I have to do it. I mean, I still got stuff in boxes everywhere. I don't know where all my stuff's at. Like, we're
keep
packing
him there. I would keep him there this season if you want my advice.
Yeah, I'll probably
Go this season and if you can handle it, go this season. Give yourself some time because you're going to be so busy settling in, and you're going to have about 10 projects right off the bat that need to be done. Feel like yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
Sound familiar?
it goes back to the whole you video kind of doing a video diary. You're really putting yourself out there because everything you do is not going to work.
Right.
But all that doesn't work leads you to the things that do.
Yeah.
And that's just awesome.
What's like training? A lot of people don't want to go train because they're scared of looking bad or failing. Well, hell, that's where you figure it out. I don't want to make a mistake pulling my gun in a self-defense situation. I'd rather that happen, training with you guys or, another competent company and have somebody instructing me. It's the same with this. Like, I'm definitely going to reach out to my circle. I mean, Matt, it was cool. He and his son, Sam, came, like we hadn't been here but a few days, and they came and fished and hung out, and he looked, and I was picking his brain, and we christened. I've got a little range, and I'm like, I haven't shown it to anybody because it's got a big pile of dirt in the middle of it and weeds growing. I want to make it look a little nicer before I put a picture out or a video. But Matt and I grabbed a couple straw bogs and let Sam shoot just to have some fun. I mean, it was cool. Like,
Make it rain.
I know I got off on a tangent, but my point is yeah, using your resources, using your, group, your friends, picking their brain, all that's important in anything.
So Jody, Max says Cheddar said you would be dead in a week. I gave you 2.
Right.
Looks like you surpassed both of them.
Hey, Max.
He's definitely questioning his sanity though at this point. Once you realize how much work it is, it's like, man, I could do a lot more before.
Yeah,
but
it's a trip.
But the ultimate preparedness is worth it, I think. And I think we also, we should touch on the benefits here that a lot of people maybe think about, but some don't. There's something to be said about being able to go out and practice in your backyard because you have your own shooting range.
Yeah.
That's pretty huge, to be able to invite your friends over and give them a fun day of real experience where there's not 50 other people around them in an indoor range where they feel like their head's going to explode whenever all those rounds are going off at one time. You know what I mean? Like there's something to be said about the benefits of that. And I told my wife whenever we bought this place, I said, I'm not buying a place I can't go shoot my guns anymore. Like,
right.
I'm done with that. Like I'm not living in that kind of place anymore. So there are benefits to it. And there's also something to being able to take your kids out and fish 5 seconds away. Like you literally walk down the driveway and you're fishing. That's awesome, dude. Like that's going to be experiences that your son will never forget and a learning experience that they'll never forget.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I grew up, my grandpa took me fishing, hunting, and this is Trez. Everybody say hey to Trez.
What's up, dude?
I'll know him. But he's getting big, man. He's about to be 11, and he's grown up in a condo and a little patch of grass, and we'd try to shoot his BB gun in the backyard. And just when we saw this place, like he fell in love. And there's a lot of work to be done. I mean, we still have a lot of renovation, and that was part of the process of buying it. But when he saw it and Katie, and they fell in love with it, I was like, you know what? I need to start creating these memories like I had, growing up, learning how to fish, learning how to shoot. I mean, he's really past the age where we should have dug a little deeper, but we just didn't have the freedom of movement. Now we do. And so now he's going to learn how to cut grass, cut trees, garden and all that stuff. So we're pretty excited about it. I mean, it is awesome. But I just wanted, this is my purpose. This is
What's up?
One of the main reasons that I do prepare to defend for others, myself, but also I wouldn't hate to see him go without. And so that's my purpose. So I wanted everybody to see him, tell him hey, tell him bye.
Hey.
Yeah, thanks for letting him say hey. All right.
No problem, Trish.
That's a good kid, man. That's a good kid.
Thank you, brother. He is.
You hit on something right there that was your wording was perfect on that. You said, right here's my purpose.
Right. Yeah, it is.
With everything you do, you're looking for that family. Just elaborate a little more on that as part of how you view it as part of the whole martial lifestyle.
Yeah, that's a good question. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, he is my purpose, right? He changed my life. He made me a better person. It brought me closer to God, and made me really realize what love was. And so starting to prepare and in a lot of different ways, like, understanding medical training, all these types of things that how can I protect him? I know I can't shield him from pain because we're all going to have pain, but, I have to raise him to be a great person and a great human being and know how to protect others. Because I go back, I see that movie, Chris Kyle, American Sniper, and they're sitting at the dinner table and he goes, there's sheeps and wolves and, or sheepdogs and wolves, and you're not going to be a damn, wolf. You're going to be a sheepdog. Well, that's what I'm raising. He's tenderhearted. I was the same way growing up, but I'm going to teach him how to be tough in the right areas, but still be tender and loving. And so that's why I do what I do. And then it expands outside of him, you know, and my fiance, Katie, and her family, and my parents, or my dad, his wife, my siblings. I prepare for all those people from a standpoint of, if something were bad to happen, you know, I can take care of them for a certain amount of time and make sure they don't go without food and water and shelter and medical care and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a good question.
So I think that's awesome. And I want to read a comment here that I thought was interesting too. John Kranz said, us dudes with no children also prepare to help yours. And that's huge.
Yeah, that's a good dude. And there's a lot of guys like that. I mean, that's
the community that we're talking about, right?
Right.
Like, that's the whole thing. And that's what we're building. And that's the part that motivates, to me, good men. So this kind of leads me down a path in my brain. I want to tell you about it, Jody, because I know you'll appreciate it, and you may already know it, because I know you're a Christian, and I know, you know, you and I think a lot alike. But I've always, if you read the Sermon on the Mount, there's a saying in there. It says, "The meek shall inherit the earth." You remember that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I've always had a little bit of problem with that. I've always felt like that didn't sit right with me. While I was watching Jordan Peterson's biblical interpretations of the Bible over this last week, and it was so awesome to hear him. He said the exact same thing I've been thinking my whole life. He said, I always had a problem with that. And I couldn't figure out why. It's like I maybe just didn't understand it. And he goes back and he talks about it. And he says, I looked at the Greek meaning of that word, and what it actually means is not what most people thinks it means. What it actually means is something to the effect of, it's a person who has a sword and knows how to use it, yet keeps it sheathed.
Yeah. Right.
Dude, that was profound for me. And that's the people that should be in leadership. That's the people that should be your friends. That's the people you should be looking for in life. Those that know how to do things, yet don't feel better, humble and willing to do exactly what you're talking about, where it's not just about me and my family. It is about other people as well. And trying to make a difference in the community so that when the time comes, the community is prepared, not just my one family. And if you got a prepared community, boy, now you've got something you can work with. Now you got a group that's hard to take down, a group that's hard to kill.
Definitely. Well, I mean, yeah, it's like the warrior in the garden. And I mean, yeah, we got this, all of you guys here as well, this big thing with, you know, alumni with tactical response. I'll be headed up there tomorrow. But we're creating that same thing here locally with you guys, and anybody within this whatever mile radius. Like, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I'm kind of bummed that there's tactical response alumni that haven't come up here and taken a class with you guys. I mean, you're part of the family. I've made it a point. And, you know, I know Max is coming to Prepper Med. That's awesome. Like, my house is open for the guys that I know that are on here busting my balls. I got some badges still, Cheddar. But like, my house is open for these guys. They can stay, you know, make the trip. They can stay and we can take a class together. So that's always open. I mean, the thing that James built, that family, is real. Like, but all families have their issues, right? We're not all Christians. That's fine, but we all stick together, you know. And there's people that don't. They usually weed themselves out. Well, that's the same thing here, you know.
Oh, you should hear the conversations that Rev and I have, because I can be one of the hardest critics of Christians that there ever is.
I mean, I'm totally against religion, just to be honest with you. And I don't want to get down that rabbit hole. I'll just leave it at that. But I'm a Christ follower, and that's what. And for me to be so, I'm not. Like, you don't have to be a Christ follower to be my brother either. So
we love that brotherhood, and we are appreciative of tactical response because it showed us what we could do. You know, it's easy, and everyone can do a class or do a concealed carry stuff. Like everybody can do stuff that's like something like that, and you'll meet a lot of like-minded people. But building that community is the tough part. That really takes time and effort. But I'd like to jump back into the homestead stuff. So you were talking about where you were planning to go next, and you're going to be documenting your journey. Can you tell us some of the upcoming projects maybe that we might see on your channel and what you're going to be thinking about doing first?
Yeah, so I'll probably drop a video at the first of next week. I just did it yesterday. I was telling Matt, he and I talked yesterday. We went and there was this company called Arkansas Pond Stockers, and I made it a point to go find them and bought a bunch of fish. So I bought some crappie and some red ear and some channel cats and grass carp and try to clean the mud up in the pond. And so I do a little film about that, or a little video about that, and show, like, I had to hunt down how in the hell do I get fish in this pond? I already have largemouth and brim, and Matt, they caught some, so they're but I'm like, I want to create a bigger ecosystem, right? Well, it wasn't easy tracking down how to find mosquito, fish, and grass carp. I don't know why. Maybe for people that know it, they know where to go. I didn't. I mean, my DuckDuckGo food was in full effect, and the company was here for an hour, so I had to take off work early to make sure I could meet this fish truck in the parking lot of a place in Dallas, North Carolina called Southern States. So, but anyway, I've got, you call me now. I've got a video that'll be dropping next week of that. Also, John Willis, again, SOE, Special Operations Equipment, told me to get some bat boxes. Found some cool ones on Amazon. So I'll be talking about that, showing those. I'm going to hang those on the property to help with insect, because I am surrounded by woods as well.
And water.
And yeah, got a
you're
pond.
You're about to learn mosquitoes around here.
Right. And so I'll be documenting that, and little stuff too. Like I just did a video. It was shaky, and I was in a hurry, but how to put some security in, like I had built-in security in a condo. There was 14 of us. We were crunched in together, and there was one way in, one way out, and I had nosy old neighbors. So I didn't worry about, as many, security cameras and, a security system. Well, I'm kind of out in the country, right? And so I've got, there's no telling what that guy said. I got all that.
Cracking me up. The comments are cracking me up. I'm trying to keep a bit of
that too. That black and brown shade. I can prove you're a country boy. And that says pantry better, not live, laugh, love. But anyway, this is a walk-in pantry behind me. So.
Nice. So you can't laugh about it and not tell the viewers. So the comment was, the black and brown snake that swims in your pond is not a friendly snake. Don't pet it, Jody. You will die trying to prove you're a country boy. Yeah. Lots of lessons, man. Lots of lessons. Especially like if you have chickens and eggs and ducks and eggs, man, you're gonna have snakes. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time for sure. So you said the bat box. You've been stocking. Oh, I meant to read John Kranz's comment too. He says, Jody, a grass carp will eat every piece of vegetation in your pond.
Yeah. So I only got a few. They actually recommended like 10 to 12. I got 5. So I was already aware that I didn't want to overdo it. So if I have to pull them out, catch them, I'm going to monitor the ecosystem. Like I said, there's some learning that'll take place, but yeah, thanks for sharing that, bro.
Tox wants to know, what's the channel name again?
It's Weapons Junkie. So if you did put a straight link in, it's youtube.com/weapons junkie, JUNKIE,
Oh my God.
the number 1.
YouTube.com/weapons junkie
1.
1. There you go.
Yeah, so weapons, yeah, that's it. Weapons Junkies are all one word together when you search. You know, and then I've got a couple popular videos that come up through search, like I think there's a fighting shotgun or home defense shotgun, sorry. So but anyway, yeah, I'll be doing those and it's a little simple one, like I've got a lot of tree coverage, right? And I need motion sensor lights in some places, but running electrical, this is kind of an old farmhouse. Well, I found some really nice battery operated motion lights and I'm kind of testing them out and I think they're good and they can go in, you know, obscure spots. So something you don't even really think about.
And
Simple.
They offer the solar as well, don't they?
Right. Yeah. And I've got those in places where I get good sun coverage, but where I need some in like an inconspicuous area, there's no sun coverage. So, or no sun.
So to me, I think this is your angle, right? So you kind of need an angle to approach something when you're trying to do the videos and stuff on it. And I think that's something that you bring. Obviously, you had a country upbringing, but when you're living, you know, in a condo, things are a lot different once you first move into the homestead. And things that seem like simple petty for you would be a great video because a lot of people don't even think about it.
Right.
Like that. Like, how do I light the areas that I need to see at night for security whenever I don't have electricity running to it? You know, that's big, man. Like I think that will be some stuff that you could definitely do videos on. And they seem very, very simple. Again, but you and I had this conversation. It's like stuff that seems like no brainer to us is apparently stuff that people really want to know and kind of, they'd like to see you working through it and see kind of where you're going.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I had pole lights in our, you know, drive in the condo. So I didn't need night lighting. It's dark as shit out here. Excuse my language. Like, you know, I roll up. If I don't have a motion light, I'm breaking out my tactician or my, you know, my secondary light. Like, where am I at? What's going on? So even though it did seem simple, it was something I had to research. And so I want to share that. Somebody might need it, you know, and if not, click past it and watch the next video. I think that's the thing. Like you said, a lot of this is so new to me that it might be old hat to other people. And then there's things that might seem simple to me that other people don't know. So if I can document it and share it and somebody can learn, that's just a bonus. You know, that's what we're giving back. So.
Well, I think even simple things like you have said already about like duck eggs and how to find them and stuff like that, where, you know, that's stuff that people don't know.
Yeah.
So you said lighting and security, and then you're doing the bat boxes, and I'm trying to remember the other one.
I think there's all kinds of video potential. If we got to get those grass carp back out of that pond, man, we can swim after them. We can shoot them. We can we can seine the pond. I don't know. We can come up with all kinds of different.
So
electrofishing. Get somebody to come out and shock the pond.
Yeah, we'll noodle those cats out eventually, right? But
yeah.
Matt said you ought to film the ducks because they make good
they do. Yeah, man, they wrestle hard.
Right, they do. Sure. They are good wrestlers. But yeah, I've also when I get back from Tactical Response Alumni, I'm going to look at a already established chicken coop and a flock of Orpington something.
Buff Orpingtons.
Yes, that. Thank you. So I'm going to go check those out. They're good layers, I was told, and they're already thriving. And somebody's looking at transitioning those out off their property. So
how old are they? How old are they?
Oh, how old are they? That's something I'm going to ask, and I'll probably be texting you asking you questions. So,
because there's sometimes like I'm not trying. I don't know the people. I don't know what the story is, but be careful. Sometimes it's like the cow that won't give milk.
Right.
Chickens kind of have a couple good years that they do really well laying, and then they start to kind of fall off.
Yeah.
Where they won't lay as well, and they'll cost you kind of more in feed. So just be aware.
Yeah.
Something to think about. I would say over 5 years old, you might want to consider just raise your own.
Yeah, I think they're a lot younger than that, but I'm doing my research, and it's a friend or it's a family member of a trusted source. So
Good. And a
yeah.
lot of times people give stuff like that up because they don't realize how much it ties them at home, right?
Yeah.
So it's, if you have, like, I'll give you an example. Even my wife has gotten rid of the chickens the last couple of years because it just was such a pull for her.
Yeah.
Trying to take care of them, plus run around, take care of a toddler and a puppy that we're training. And so sometimes you do run into a situation like that. And then ours were getting killed like crazy because hawks and other things were just tearing them up, man.
Yeah.
So there's, if you showed me earlier, you got a hawk hanging around your place. So it probably won't be long until you have to start thinking about defending the chickens too, man,
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of, some people are like, why haven't you already done this? And I'm like, hey, I need to slow my roll. I'll get there. It's one step at a time. I'm just trying to still unpack boxes. So,
yeah. You got time. That's also why I said you should probably, keep the guy mowing the grass for this year.
Right.
Give yourself some time, man. Especially like we were having that conversation last week on live stream where it's like 3 hours of mowing, man.
Oh yeah.
Terrible. It'll put a real drain on you.
We've had some funny comments. We should read some of them.
Address them.
Yeah,
Go for it, Matt.
Read some of Cheddar's.
I was gonna read all of Jason Rapport's.
Yeah.
He said, Jody, that black cat with a white stripe will make you stink if you pet it, trying to prove you're a country boy. And he says, Jody is going to get pecked to death trying to prove he's a country boy.
That's funny.
Then he says, I'll sell you a pig or two, but you would fall into pen and get eaten trying to prove you're a country boy.
Jason's got enough material to do a whole book, man.
Yeah.
Jason can go, man.
Cheddar, you should make me some kind of shirt for alumni about this. I mean, just the gay things run its course now. It's like trying to be a country boy.
Now it's how you're gonna die being a country boy. That's
right,
it. Yeah.
Right. How many ways can you die trying to be a country boy?
Another great comment tonight was by John Krantz. He said there may not be any coyotes in the condominium complex, but there's definitely some cougars. Parentheses.
Right.
His mom and parentheses.
That's a good one. Yeah, there you go, Kranz.
And then Max also said, never trust anyone that keeps pigs or becomes friends with them. That's that's one of the surefire ways to hide a body. The pig will take care of it.
Right.
Yep. We got Tactical Bits in the house. We got Brandon Davis. I've seen his name around, but he's new to the live stream. Thanks for joining us, guys. And the huge, we got the Maxes, the Wexlers. All you guys, thanks for hanging out.
Is there any questions that anybody else has in there? No, just everybody roasting. I told them to come roast me. So
most of them are roasting, but it's pretty funny stuff.
That's good. I wouldn't expect less. I get to see most of them tomorrow night, so I'll get them back.
So I heard a couple of people saying that you should definitely do videos on developing the range. That would be very interesting and helpful for other people. So that may be something that you look into.
Yeah. I mean, my name is Weapons Junkie, so that was one of the big draws for me because I've always wanted to be able to step outside of my house and shoot. So
it's huge, man. It's huge. And then the other thing is, like you were saying before, like being able to teach your son and him to see how you're living and doing those kind of things. That's big, man. Like that's the whole point of our whole reason for doing things, right? Is to be able to show the kids how to do real life stuff, not just the silly stuff sometimes they're learning at school. They need to learn life skills, where their
Right.
food comes from, why you need to eat this and not that.
Yep.
Being able to see what kind of hard work goes into producing this amount of food. A lot of people take for granted just how easy it is to go to the grocery store and pick up some food and bring it home.
Right.
If you had to produce, I don't think there's any of us that could produce what we actually eat in a year by ourselves. Like, we would need a whole community of folks trying to take on different projects just to make it to where the community could be self-sufficient.
Right.
It's a big project, man. It really is.
Well, we had a conversation, that you were involved in, and we were talking about how to work together. And I said, well, everybody has to have their own level of preparedness before you can bring it into a larger group.
Absolutely.
For me, I mean, I'm a pretty hardcore prepper. I started, 2013-ish, 12-ish, but I like ramped it up in the last year and a half. But you can only buy so much and you can only store so much, and then you're stuck, like we were saying at the beginning. I can have all the bug out bags, I can have all the buckets of food, I can have all of this and all of that, I can go train with it, but at some point that runs out. I got to know how to garden, I got to know how to get an ecosystem of fish going, I've got to be able to raise chickens. That's the point. I've got to transition if I'm really going to be self-sufficient at some point.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that would be great to include in your videos as you're documenting all this, obviously you have priorities of things you want to do there and get done, but that priority list has to be mismatched a little bit because of seasons and time. Like you mentioned garden, you moved in 2 weeks ago. You're not going to start,
Right.
garden right now. You might be able to plant a couple things, but those type things would be good to include in that.
Yeah, that is.
A lot of people don't realize it takes almost a year to just get the soil ready for gardening.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not an easy task. Like, it takes a lot of preparation to do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, a couple more comments that are funny as crap. First, we got to answer Mary Lean. I'm sorry if I'm messing your name up. Mary Lean has asked, "Hey Jody, when can we come and shoot with the country boy?" And I'm pretty sure you already made an open invite for folks that are part of the group, that are family, to hang out. So if you know him personally, I'm sure he would already say that, right? So
right.
I don't know if you know her, but
yes, I do.
She seems to know you. That's why I said that.
That is my father's wife. So
and again, something cool about that is bringing other people to the flock. Like, you can start them small when you have a range at your home. It's super nice.
And she enjoys like she's kind of squared away. When she met my dad, I was pretty excited. So yeah, we can go shoot together. So have some fun.
And now we'll go back to the funny comments. Jason says, "The cat with the black spots over his eyes will bite you and give you rabies if you touch it trying to prove you're a country boy." And he says, "I'd let you come over and try to learn how to take care of cattle, but you would get kicked in the chest trying to prove you're a country boy." And then Cran says you should try to milk it, the bull. What's the other one? There was another good one I saw. You got to have someone teach you so you don't die trying to prove you're a country boy. Sad part is you won't listen to me.
Cheddar's funny. I do listen to him, but he thinks I'm an idiot. So I'm like, all right, it's cool. I'm an idiot.
Don't
But
milk
I love him. He's my brother, so I love him.
Don't milk the bull.
Max said, "Jody, just the process of starting from the beginning of the homesteading thing." I guess you're saying, yeah, kind of document that. That's definitely, like, right now, some of the stuff I'm doing is just moving in moving in from a condo to, you know, an old farmhouse with 4 acres, like security and trying to get some pest control and starting the process. The pond was an easy one for me because I can go buy some fish and dump them in there and see what happens, right? So
So the other advice I would give you is there's some really talented growers and farmers and I'm trying to think of the right word for people who raise livestock. Help me out. Anyway, there's some people in our community that are already in our group that you should be talking to, especially the Kishimotos. Like, they have a small farm close to you and do some of the stuff that you're already kind of in. They have ducks and chickens and stuff. Like, definitely get into, you know, the alumni and dig in. Like, there's some people that are very, very talented in our group. Some of them that, you know, you might not see as often, but they're there. They're lurking in the background, so to speak.
yeah,
So there's
definitely
some hugely valuable assets out there.
good. Hey, and Max said, yeah, because so many of us are in the same place just starting out. And Max, when you come down for Prepper Med, man, if you get a chance, come over and I'll just show you my thoughts. And I mean, it's like I said, there's still boxes stacked up. Like, there's nothing really going on, but you can see, you know, my ideas, and I can kind of point it out and say, okay, well, I'm thinking a chicken coop over here, and this is why I fell in love with it when I pulled in. This is why I like the security aspect of it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you're more than welcome to come by when you come in town. And I'm still up for people getting together. Katie might kill me, but just know that it's still a work in progress. I mean, literally, we haven't got hardly settled in, but
I think for ease of convenience, I think we're gonna stay at the rescue squad.
okay, that's cool.
Keep everybody there, and
Well, the really cool people can leave the rescue squad and come over here after. No,
yeah, you can do that if you have to have an adult beverage and all that stuff. But
right.
I think
smoke a cigar and
we're in the works with Kish on doing some pulled pork and some fixings, and
oh, nice.
I told him to plan for 20 people.
That's awesome.
And so he did some
I heard
drive
down, so that's cool.
Yeah, man. Sure can.
Hey, so my buddy Dustin Smith just commented. So, hey, Dustin, I'm glad you logged in. I need you to come take a class with my boys here. We talked about that. He said, I'm still just a phone call away. If you need any advice with safe organic pest control, just holler. I've been picking Dustin's brain. I bought an Echo weed eater. He's a landscaper. And he's like, man, I've had one for 10 years and it just keeps rolling. And so he's got a lot more expertise in that, but he would be good, man, to get in a class. And he's got a couple little ones at home, but he'd be a good guy to add to our alumni for sure.
Usually that's good motivation, having kids at home, and he's always welcome.
Yeah, Dustin, go back and watch when Trez came in here and we had a conversation. You know, I know, you know, you're like-minded like me, but it'll start settling in that you got to become more dangerous for them. So
brings me back to that whole conversation about the meek inheriting the earth, right?
Right.
Changes your whole perspective when you see the other side of that coin.
Right. Hey, and if any of y'all don't follow Viking Preparedness, it's Pastor Joe Fox. I tripped over his channel and I like it. Most of his stuff's on Patreon, but that led me into watching Bear Independent. And I watched him when he was just small. Now he's getting pretty big. Vice News did a thing with those two guys, and
I saw that actually. It's on my playlist.
Yeah, and you know, Bear TJ, he said, well, Jesus wasn't a P word, so he kind of got his point across.
Absolutely.
But
you know, Rev and I talk about that all the time. Jesus wants warriors, man. He doesn't want pushovers. He wants people that are willing to stand up.
Right.
So going back to the homestead and stuff, Ariel says, I wonder if an aquaponic setup would work for you. Having a pond with live fish equals fertilizer to be able to water with.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Good idea.
And then Jason says, if you set up an aquaponic system, pump water from the pond and return it to the water to the pond, the veggies will clear the pond.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. I like that.
And then Ariel says, and then a greenhouse for the wintertime, which is one of our big goals coming up, is trying to get a greenhouse going. That's big. Being able to grow food year round is pretty huge.
Yeah, I saw those high tunnels. John Willis, I keep talking about him, but man, he's going all out. If you don't follow him, Special Operations Equipment, John Willis, he's documenting. He's got a compound, like not like my 4 acres. He's got 10, but he's built his second pond. One of them's huge. I mean, it's a couple acres, I think. But I was there a couple months ago, and he was showing me a lot of stuff that I want to implement. And he was talking about rabbits and how you're able to use their manure to fertilize because it won't burn it up because there's not.
Absolutely.
And about getting guineas to keep the ticks down. And then,
however, caution with the guineas.
Yeah, they're loud. Yeah.
Man, they're aggravating.
Somebody said get one, and that one will let you know when there's predators, and they probably won't be as bad if you group them together, and they'll still eat all the ticks you need. So
yeah,
that's
my
awesome.
my dad raised rabbits when we were younger. I got lots of great memories about that. But that their poo was fairly neutral. I remember like just shoveling out from under the cage, putting it in a pot, and it would grow a tomato plant.
yeah,
So, yeah, that's pretty good stuff there, man. So sounds like quickly multiplying protein and great fertilizer.
yeah, and cheddar, Jason, for all the y'all that don't call him cheddar, is like I'll tell you how to build a greenhouse that doesn't cost $20,000 because he was talking about how John's got tons of money. So yeah, I'll definitely be. I mean, we'll be hanging out, cheddar, and you know I always listen to you, so I'll pick your brain. And I had to. So for everybody else too, if you're starting where I'm starting or not even there yet, just like anything, you got to prioritize. So I'm taking all the information in. I'm creating this, hierarchy system and figuring out, okay, this I can get done right now. It's going to have a benefit. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. But I have to keep that focus in mind. So there's a million things I want to do, but if I sit here and try to do them all at one time, I'm going to get nowhere. So that's like anything else in life. You got to train. You got to start at, comprehensive carry. Then you got to go to pistol 1. Then you got to go to pistol 2. Then you got to go to rifle 1. And then you got to get your ass in the med class. And then force on force is on the horizon. So it's the same thing. You got to be smart. You got to use your tribe. You got to use your resources and plan.
So in a way, what you're saying is you're on the path
right
to homesteading, and it takes time, just like developing yourself as a warrior, so to speak. You're not going to get it. A lot of people have the conception you take one class and you're done. That's not how it works. Like you got to put time in, and it's an ongoing process. You never stop learning. And I've been on my homestead now for 5 years. And if I can give you any advice, always think of the time cost to whatever project that you're undertaking. Mm-hmm. So here's what I mean by that. If you have projects that require time daily after they're completed, like livestock,
right,
be cautious of that because it really can box you in sometimes to where pretty soon you have your whole day filled with taking care of other things and animals and stuff, and you don't have time to get to the other projects that were on your list. So in a lot of ways, it really pays to go slow. Yeah. It really pays to get your ducks in order, so to speak, and line them up before you ever get started, which is exactly what you were just saying.
Right. That's great advice. And yeah, thank you for reconfirming what I've already kind of thought. Like, yeah, I would love to have all that here right now, but I still have, a career, and you know, I manage a lot of people, and I have to, like you said, I have to find the right things that fit in my free time already. Yes, I want to be able to take off for the weekend to Camden, Tennessee and spend time with my people, go to alumni, go to the SOE party, stay after and take a class on Monday and Tuesday, force on force. If I had cattle and stuff here or whatever, I couldn't do that. I
No.
would be boxed in. Now I may, you know, smaller animals, chickens, things like that, you know, and I find the right person I can trust to, you know, hey, cover me for a couple of days. I'm going out of town. That's a different thing. So,
Which
that's
again,
great advice. Thank you.
we get back to community, right? If you
Right.
don't have help, it doesn't matter how much stuff you got.
Right.
And that's the hard part for most people to bite off. You can be an excellent farmer. You can be an excellent homesteader. You and your little family can be doing an awesome job. But when stuff gets hard, there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's only so much time you can be awake and on your feet, and only so much work that each person can do. It really does take a lot of dedication and effort to put in for a team, man.
Yeah. And
To
people
get that those people around you that look out for you.
I know we're winding down, but if we go back, you know, you wonder why people had 6 and 8 and 10 kids back years ago. They were
They
working.
need help. They need
Right.
help. They were building their own army.
Free labor, free labor.
Right. I mean, my grandfather, you know, he was in the Great Depression, and he was 7 or 8. He got shipped off to his family's farm to help so he could eat. Like, so, you know, that was real deal. And that was in the United States of America. And that was, you know, less than 80 years ago. So, or well, about 90 years ago, my bad. Somewhere less than 100 is my point. So for people sitting back thinking they can always go to the grocery store and get whatever they want, like, it's time to wake up, man. That's all I can say. And I'm not a fear monger. And, you know, people that think that, oh, well, if you're a Christian, how can you be a prepper? Oh, well, there's a lot of things to support that as well. But my point is we're in a weird time in this world. And you can see the things. I mean, for God's sakes, Cuba is raising up right now because they can't get enough food. South Africa killing people because they don't have. There's protests in France. America's been in a tough situation. Hell, go try to get an AC unit. Go try to get somebody to do some work. There's shortages of everything. Don't think that's not going to lead to food one day. And China's been buying up all of our soy and corn for the last year. That goes in every product on the grocery shelf almost. And again, do your own research. I'm not trying to fear monger, but it's time to pay attention now or never.
So we talk about that in prepping class about how it really doesn't matter the why.
Right.
If you cover your bases, it does, like, you can pretty much take on anything with a couple of things checked off, right? Like, you can pretty much handle any scenario. It doesn't matter which one it was. And a lot of people get so caught up in the why, they forget that, like, most of them have the same consequences, and you can handle it with the same set of rules, right?
Yeah.
So I want to do one more. We're getting close to wrapping up. I want to talk about one more question here.
Okay.
One more comment. Jason said, you won't be boxed in. You just need to learn how to automate. I have cattle, pigs, chicken, rabbits, goats, guineas, and I can leave for a week and be fine. Jason, I think that is huge material that you should have on your YouTube channel. Like, that's the stuff that I would like to see, because I mean, I know that there's certain ways you can do things, but to see, so if y'all don't know Cheddar, like we know him, Cheddar has a unique ability to turn things that might be expensive or complex into a very cheap and simple solution that works as good as even like a commercial setup would work. So I would love to see that kind of stuff on your YouTube channel, Jason. I think that would be awesome, man. And you would help a lot of people with that. Just seeing how you kind of automate and set things up. Because I did have some things that I was getting better, where I could go 3-4 days and not have to mess with it But yeah, it'd be great to see that stuff on your channel, man. And that's, again, community helping each other. That's what we're all about. So
Right.
is
Exactly.
there any more comments or anything we want to go over? We're getting pretty close to cut off tonight.
Yep. Patriot Matt O. The Jason makes great bull.
Right. Dehydrated testicles as well.
Y'all killing me.
Freeze dried. I'm sorry. Freeze dried. He doesn't. It's
Yeah.
not dehydration. It's freeze dried.
All right, guys, we're going off the rails. So if you've been watching this, we appreciate it. Junkie, Jody, we appreciate you so much, man, for coming on with us and sharing your journey with us and letting us know kind of where you're going with it. All you guys that are out there in the comments, we appreciate you commenting and stopping by. Pepper Med class coming up. We'll be seeing a couple of you guys down. Can't wait to have you there. Y'all see Max. I think Max Lozano will be on next week. Be sure to tune in. We'll talk some different stuff and see where that one takes us. I don't know where that live stream is going to go, but we'll see when it gets here. That being said, guys, if you'd like to train with us, look up preparepatriotnc.com and you can check our schedule up there. And until next time, we hope you guys carry smart, carry safe, and be prepared. We'll see you next week, guys. Jody.